All right, what's going on? It is Titans at 2 here with you live on A to Z Sports. I am Sam Phelan, and we are talking about everything Brian Callahan said in his most recent press conference. We got a lot to get to, folks, because the Titans are on the board. They are in the win column for the first time in 2024, but they did so with Mason Rudolph at quarterback, which, of course, is now causing a lot of discourse about where the Titans go at QB moving forward. I'm here to talk about what Brian Callahan said regarding Will Levis's shoulder injury that he suffered on Monday Night Football against the Dolphins, and then go over what the head coach said about both Mason Rudolph and Will Levis and why it's very, very clear the Titans are all in on Will Levis, and that will not change during the 2024 season. Let's go ahead and jump right in because normally Brian Callahan is coming at you with an injury update to start his Monday, or I guess in this case, Tuesday press conferences. But because of the nature of the Monday night game, the fact that it was in Miami, we do not yet have an update on Will Levis and the injury situation.
Well, as of right now, we're still early today. It's for coming off the late start. We start later today when we get back late like that. So I have no updates on anything injury wise at this point. They're still working through the treatment process and all the other things they do post game. So normally I'd have something for you, but because of the schedule, I don't at the moment. So that stuff will have to be held for a later date. Just so you guys know, just as the week schedule goes, going into the bye week, we brought everybody. Players will be in today. Our coaches will be in a full work day tomorrow, and then we take the mandatory Thursday through Sunday off. So our players will get tomorrow off. It works weird with the bye week or with the Monday night game because we bring them in late today, and then there's tomorrow technically would be their off day in a normal process. It's the most sore they are after a game, and so we're just going to cut them loose. They need the recovery anyway, so they'll be off tomorrow and through Sunday. We'll be back Monday for normal practice weeks.
So Brian Callahan did not have an injury update, as you heard there. I was able to find out a couple of things in the hours that transpired at St. Thomas Sports Park today. Number one was that right tackle Jalen Duncan, who was kind of a surprise inactive on Monday night. Duncan being inactive was due to injury. The fact that he was really limited in practices leading up to the game in Miami. There was some speculation that, hey, maybe it was just a really bad week of practice for Jalen Duncan, who is supposed to be in the mix for starting right tackle. Obviously, that didn't happen. He was inactive on game day. Nicholas Petit-Frere, by the way, not irrelevant, had a pretty strong outing for the Titans. And so a missed opportunity potentially for Jalen Duncan as he, sidelined with an injury. Jeffrey Simmons did not play either. He was day-to-day in the week leading up to Miami, ended up being ruled doubtful on the weekend as we previewed the game, and then he did not play. Jeff told Titans media in the locker room today that he wanted to play in that game, that he was trying to play in the game, but was ultimately told it wasn't good for him. And he is fully confident that he will be back and ready to roll for the Colts because he has another potentially 2 weeks really here of rest before he needs to play in another game. But the big one here is Will Levis. The big one is Will Levis because as Brian Callahan shared in Miami at halftime and after the game, Will Levis would have gone back in and been the Titans quarterback in that game had he been able to go. But with the shoulder, he was not able to go. Levis is expected to get an MRI on what is believed to be an AC joint issue, but no update on the severity of it from Brian Callahan just yet. So a wait and see on Levis's health. That being said, he is the Titans starting quarterback if he's healthy. We all need to accept this. We all need to get this down. And we also need to understand that just because the Titans scored 31 points, just because they broke the streak of 1,000 days without scoring 30 points with Mason Rudolph at quarterback, it doesn't mean any of that was necessarily caused by Mason Rudolph. The Titans ran the ball the best they've run the ball all season. They really leaned on their offensive line in the run game. They had some defensive takeaways and special teams plays that set them up with short fields and allowed them to get points. Nick Folk kicked 3 field goals from 50-plus yards, becoming the oldest kicker in NFL history to do so. Mason Rudolph didn't make a big mistake. He played smart and he was fine managing the game. He managed the game well. But did he do anything exceptional? No. Did he blow me away? No. Did he do anything to convince me he needs to be the team's starting quarterback? No. And quite frankly, the Titans didn't ask him to Brian Callahan reflected on Mason Rudolph's performance and said just that, hey, it was okay, but like we didn't really have Mason do a whole lot. It was hard for him to mess it up.
Yeah, I mean, I think we didn't ask a lot of Mason in the second half of that game. I thought we were running the ball well, and we were going to keep doing that. But to me, it's very similar to, kind of how Chicago went. Like, had a good lead, and we're running the ball well, and we just had a chance. Now, I also called it very conservatively in that regard, because I was trying to make sure that because our defense was playing lights out, and I was just going to keep running the football. And we ran it well, and we were running it well, and it worked out for us. But yeah, Mason managed the game well. He did a nice job of just making sure that we didn't have anything disastrous happen, because at that point, that's really all that was going to help them get back in that game. And he did a nice job of making sure we were clean operationally and the ball was secured, and it was good. It was a good, boring way to finish the game, and look, I'm all for it. But that's a good thing. There is lessons to be learned in that for sure.
A good, boring way of finishing the game. Callahan's on the money there. It was boring watching Mason Rudolph play quarterback, but it was good enough. It was fine. He managed the game. That being said, right, like this is what your backup quarterback is there to do. He's there to fill in when you need him in a pinch, and you need a guy who can go out and manage the game. But I thought this was really excellent coaching by Brian Callahan, a really creative way of shifting his game plan when Will Levis went down, and also taking cues from the football game that you're in. Brian Callahan picked up on the fact that the Titans defense was locking down Miami. He was picking up on the fact that Tyler Huntley didn't really show like he was, at a spot where he's ready to play. That Miami offense was ugly and struggled to get positive yards a lot of the time. And so Callahan pivots, knowing that he has a lead, knowing that Miami is struggling, and he leans on his run game to milk clock, to make sure that they don't put the ball in harm's way and ultimately get out of there with a win. Now, in the process, you got a couple of breaks. You broke a couple of big plays. You end up scoring 30 points. I don't know if that was even the intention from Brian Callahan at many different points of the game. But it matters, right? The fact that the Titans didn't ask Mason Rudolph to do a whole lot, because I think we're a little bit, gaslit by Rudolph's performance, and just the fact that the Titans won. This positive, overwhelming feeling of joy that the Titans escaped Miami with a victory, that they scored 30 points, that things are finally pointing in the right direction, I think is misleading for a lot of Titans fans right now, and pointing to Mason Rudolph as the better option for the Titans. That doesn't make any sense. There really is no argument to me to go with Mason Rudolph at quarterback for the Titans at all throughout the 2024 season. I'm not sure I see a scenario where I could support the Titans benching Will Levis. And I think Brian Callahan laid out a big reason why the team is all in on number 8 right now.
Getting to know everything you can about Will, finding out if he's your guy long term, giving him a chance to develop and get over the youthful mistakes and all that. Is that accurate?
Yes.
View of how you guys are looking at it?
Yeah, that's exactly how we look at it. And I appreciate Mason's professionalism. I appreciate how prepared he was and ready to go into the game. But Will is our starting quarterback. And I said it last night, and I'll reiterate it again, that when he's healthy, he's starting. And hopefully he's healthy for Indy and we're ready to roll, and he's the starting quarterback, because it's hard to play quarterback in the NFL, as everybody knows. There does take some development. Guys make young player mistakes. You see it all across the league right now. And we're going to find out everything about Will that we can, and he's going to continue to grow and get better and play better. He needs to play better for us, and at the end of the day, I believe that he will, and that's where I'm at with that whole thing. There's no controversy, there's no second guessing. That's what's happening. So that's probably as clear as I can state it.
As clear as he can state it. No controversy, no second guessing, no ifs, ands, buts, or complaints about it. Will Levis is the Titans guy. He's Brian Callahan's guy right now. The Titans are all in. They are pot committed to Levis in 2024, and that's a good thing. Callahan would go on to say that so much of what the Titans have done in their playbook, in the talent that they've acquired, is to set Will Levis up to succeed. And now, does he succeed? Who knows, right? That remains to be seen. But what have we talked about with the 2024 season? The playoffs is great, right? If you can compete, that's awesome. The most important thing was getting an answer about number 8, getting an answer about your quarterback and if he can be your guy moving forward. Now, some of you out there probably think the Titans have their answer. Will Levis sucks. I don't think they have that answer yet. Brian Callahan does not think they have that answer yet. And he says it right there of believing Will Levis is going to improve, that he is going to develop. And Callahan, Rand Carthon, the Titans want to see what that improved version of Will Levis looks like. He has not played even a full season's worth of games. And I hate to keep bringing that point up, but it matters because what Will Levis looks like now could be drastically different from what he looks 10 games from now. And the version of Will that is the one at the end of the season, I think will be the guy that they're making a decision on at the end of the season, if he is their starting quarterback or not. But there's no benefit of going to Mason Rudolph. You've done so much work to surround Will with quality talent, to surround Will with quality coaching, to surround Will with a playbook that makes sense to him. You've invested in his development. You invested a pretty good pick and traded up in the second round just 2 years ago to get him, and he showed flashes as a rookie. So it is not time to jump ship, and there won't be a time to jump ship in 2024. The Titans are going to go with a different quarterback. They'll actually find a different quarterback that's worth starting. That's not Mason Rudolph, who you're just asking to manage a game. Going 6-11 with Mason Rudolph under center does nothing for anybody. So this is Will Levis's team. Brian Callahan believes in his development, and if he's healthy, he's going to be the one under center. It won't change. Get used to it. That might not make people happy. People might be ready to see Will Levis go. But at this point in time, I don't see where the benefit is in that for the Titans as an organization. You could make the argument it's better for the Titans as a team in the moment, but it's not better for the future of the organization as a whole. And ultimately, when you're in the spot the Titans are in, when you're trying to build a culture, when you're trying to establish a foundation for what your football team looks like and build around a head coach, I don't think Brian Callahan's job is on the line by any means in 2024. I think there's still this idea that Amy Adams Strunk is going to remain patient and give Callahan a chance to build this team in his image. And so what rush is there to send out Mason Rudolph as a veteran and win games by running the football all the time? Build around Will Levis, improve your team and play better around Will Levis, and watch Will Levis play better around you as a result. Let me get off my soapbox. Let me leave you guys. I'll have more on this topic, obviously, because the Titans have a bye week in week 5. So there's going to be a lot of conversations still happening around the Titans quarterbacks and the health of Will Levis in the future. Don't forget to stay peeled on A2ZSports.com for all of my written content in A to Z Sports Primetime with Buck Rising coming up later on Tuesday night. Till then, tighten up. We'll see you later.